Hey, what's going on today, everybody? Today we're going to go over DiRoots and the tab TableGen inside of DiRoots. This is going to help you link your Excel files into Revit. Let's get to the video. So I'm in a random project here. In the DiRoots tab up top, we're talking about TableGen, the third one in. So let's open up Unify to start, and we'll go to the third icon down, which is Save Searches, go to General, and then Schedule Template. Now it says don't forget to show results. What that means is this blue link in here, I have to actually click that link for things that aren't this top software to appear. So since this is an Excel file, not a Revit file, that's why I have to click that link just so it shows up. Now I have the Excel file open, and one thing I want to note is any of these striped rows here, that is the correct color that we have set up in Revit. It's the Shive standard. But to get those to show properly, you actually have to use this fill bucket tool up here at top. And 224 is the gray color that you're going to want. 224 across RGB value. The white is just a perfect white. Now, when filling out this schedule, we could do all sorts of things. I'll just give it some random values here. Give a couple values that aren't in the schedule. And then I'm also going to just change the color of a few cells. And then let's say I wanted just this portion to have a different border. I would click on this border icon editor here, click more borders, and all I have to do is select the width. So this is thin lines, this would be medium lines, and this would be wide lines as far as Shive standards concerned. So again, thin, medium, wide. I'm going to select wide lines on the outside and the inside. Now it does not like this cross pattern, so don't add the cross pattern when editing these Excel files. Now you can see that it's really dark here. We have some highlighting and we have some text everywhere. I am going to save this file and it's going to be saved just to my desktop here. So I'll browse and make sure that that's the location that it actually wants to go. And we'll just save the schedule template there. Now I'm going to X out. I'm going to minimize Unify. And occasionally you will get a pop-up in Unify. You could just X out of that pop-up when you open this Excel file. But I'm going to open TableGen here, and a nice little handy tool that I like is if you click on the TableGen version, if you double click it, you can actually minimize or expand the window. So I think that that's pretty nice whenever you're working and checking your work. You don't have to keep closing this and opening it. You just minimize the tab, and then I'm over in Revit able to see everything pretty easily. So I'm going to click Add Tables. And then find a location here, and that location again we just now saved onto our desktop because it's our edited file. This would be a P drive location for the majority of you. Now worksheet, something important to note, so I'll showcase this in just a minute. Print area, that's another important thing to note. Legend, schedule, or drafting view, that's what's going to show up in Revit once you export this Excel file. And then you've got your view scale, which you're always going to leave as 1:1. So I'm just going to click OK here. Now, if I was to add another table here, I could have added number of copies, let's say 3, and add the same Excel file. And now what this is going to do, it's going to have all the same information. I'll click OK, but you see how it added 3 of that Excel file? Now, why that's important here, and I'm just going to delete one. So these are the 3 that I just added using the quantity 3. Is because now I can go over to view type and I can click schedule and drafting view here. So if I had multiple ways that I wanted this information displayed, or I had multiple print areas, that would be a good reason that you're going to want to add a quantity of more than 1. So I'm going to go into one of these files. I'll just check it and I'll right click open file. You can likewise open a folder. Those are going to be the most 2 important right clicks there. So in here I'm going to establish another print area, and with print areas all I have to do is select my area, and then in this top right say Jake print area. And one thing you should note is you can't actually have spaces when you're creating print area names, so make sure that you use underscores or something else to delineate how you want to use that print area. Now I've added my print area. We also have this area which has already been predefined as a print area, but I'll do one that's just the schedule information, no headers or anything. No headers is what I'll say. And again, can't have those spaces, so we'll hit enter, and now we're gonna save the file, close it, click the check all button, hit update views. Now by updating views you will have this loading bar up here. Not always does it showcase that it's loading when you click the update views button, but inside of Revit it will update those views. So I'm gonna let this load, and then I'm gonna have all of these views that have just been created in Revit now appear in my schedules. So these were 002s, and I'm going to drag the schedules now. This is a drafting view. That's one of the types of schedule that we created onto this sheet. And then I'm going to grab the legend, which is another type of view that we just created. And then I'm also going to grab the Revit schedule that we just created. Now we do have all of this set, so it is 330-second text, so you're ready to go there. But when editing these schedules, they all look the exact same right now. Well, that's because all I did was change the view type. Now, we did create those different print areas, so I'm going to apply that to two of them. It's going to be the drafting view and the legend here. And I'm going to click on Update Views again, and then I'm going to hit Apply. Now, if I watch here in the background, we're actually going to see these things update. So it says there that the changes were made, and you can see in the background that those view ranges have now been edited. So one of the view ranges, I actually have to pull down my schedules here, and I'll just move this plan over to this side for us. But one of my schedules has information that actually goes down past the schedule. Well, again, if we had our Excel file open, again, right click, open file, you can see that I did have a few things that weren't in any borders. That's why they show the way that they do here in Revit. There's no borders around them. Again, that's a manual entry. Same thing with the filled regions. Those are manual entries. Conditional format, unfortunately, does not work at this time of this video being recorded, so you're going to have to edit accordingly. Now, with the schedules that we have inside of Revit, I will have to turn my line weight information off to see some of these changes occasionally. You can see that wide lines are being used here, and then likewise wide line or thin lines, and then medium lines around the border of my drawing. So they're very slight changes there. You will notice this when printing. And then again, you know, I filled in this region with yellow, but everything is set to Revit as Revit would want to see it. So you guys really are set to go once you import these files. If any changes were to be made, let's say that I change this schedule title here, so we're in the one that actually is a schedule. I'm just going to call it Jake, and then we're going to go back to the floor plan, and we will edit this one to say cake, because it rhymes with Jake. So we will then go back into TableGen, which I minimized there on accident, and I'm just going to leave all selected because that's easy. I'm going to open the file and show you that in that Excel file nothing has changed. Well, I'll just save the file again. I'll click Update Views and then hit Apply, and now you will see that the Excel file overwrit that change of the schedule title. This goes for any change that you've made in Revit. It says schedule title again, and it says schedule title again. Well, why? Because in my Excel file it says schedule title. So if you make any changes in Revit and you use DiRoots Table Gen to import changes again later, you will overwrite any of your Revit changes no matter what. This is more tied to Excel than it is to Revit. Revit is just the face of where this thing is going to be showing. Now, if you have any CTC legacy, I guess, projects that now we no longer support CTC, don't worry. Print areas were the same concept, so you can use the same print areas. Excel was the same concept, so you can use the same Excel files. The only thing that's really going to change is potentially the conditional formatting, and then the actual file that you have loaded into Revit. You're going to want to delete CTC files from your project, and then you're going to want to add in the new file with DiRoots. CTC will not lose any information, so you're only going to have to do that if you're making any updates to any existing Excel files inside of Revit. And if you're making changes before CTC is uninstalled from your computers, you will potentially run into issues. So you're really going to want to have CTC uninstalled and then start using this new workflow of DiRoots Table Gen. So I also want to showcase under that TableGen tab would be the worksheet location. So I can select between worksheets I have in the Excel file. Right now I have none, which is why we could only see one. Again, when I was adding tables, it was an option here. So what we'll do is we'll right click on our one of our files here, which will open the Excel file. And then down here at the bottom, I can either hit this plus icon or I can right click and hit move or copy there. And then create a copy. So I can create a copy, and now I have the same sheet, just a different page. And let's say I want this middle area to be purple on one sheet. Well, I can then define print areas again. Print areas will transfer with me as long as I've copied the sheet. Otherwise, if I go to sheet 1 here and I try to select print areas, it moves me back to my other sheets because print areas aren't going to go between sheets. So on this one, I'll just make a quick orange area. I'll grab the area, and then we have to make again a new print area. I'll say new print area, and you have to hit enter again, no spaces in that. So then I can come up and I can see new print area was created. So I'll save that. So I come back to this page, I hit the refresh button, and now the Excel files are refreshed, where I can see you have schedule title 2 and you also have sheets. So schedule title 2 would be that second that we made, and then we have sheet 1 here. So Jake print area, and then new print area. We have all of those options here. I'm going to hit apply, and it's going to edit again those same exact Excel files that we had done in the background. Because all we've done is we've edited that information shown within the sheet. So you can see the purple showing up, and now also the orange. One other thing I would mention is I would not have any tables auto sync. That's going to cause potentially a lot of lag in your projects. I haven't tested it with DiRoots, but I've tested auto syncs on a lot of other softwares, and every time it slows you down more than it's worth. So leave auto sync off, manually go in and make these changes, and it'll also help with your Revit start times whenever you're initially opening your projects in Revit for the first time that day. Well, that's today's information. I hope this was helpful, and we will see you guys in the next one.